You're live.
Back, Seneca County fourth graders, we're excited to have you here for our next session in our virtual school days here in 2020. Hope you had a great experience with Mr. Mark Steinmetz, learning about Josiah Hedges and the history of the city of Tiffin. Now we're going to jump forward, talk a little bit about our Native American heritage here in Seneca County. Before we do so, a couple housekeeping items. Again, as a reminder, all these sessions, if you happen to jump on a little bit late or happen to miss a session, will be available shortly after the completion of each session via the link provided on the agenda via YouTube. Also, if you do have questions, we do encourage, please use that live chat, whether it's a technical question or a question for your presenter today. We really want you to engage with them and help create great conversation around our events today. So our next event today, unfortunately, we did have a little change of schedule. We do not have our Native American PowWow group here, the Water Spiders, in person due to some unforeseen circumstances. But I'm going to provide you a quick introduction to the heritage of the Native American ancestry here in Seneca County, and then encourage you to use the link in the agenda provided to access actual recordings of the Water Spiders group here to see their great presentations and performances they provide. So to set the stage for them, an introduction to the Native American PowWow. So in earlier times, Native Americans established a route from the Ohio River to Lake Erie following the Scioto and the Sandusky rivers. So as a result of these rivers, there was a lot of Native American activity in this area of Seneca County. The early settlers encountered the Native Americans on a regular basis. It was a common event every single day they'd cross paths. Northwest Ohio remained predominantly a Native American territory till the end of the War of 1812. So just as little of about 200 years ago, this area was populated and maintained primarily by the Native American ancestry. After the war, the Native American reservations were formed along the Sandusky River in Sandusky, Seneca, and Wyandotte County, so right here in Seneca County. And as a result of the 1817 Treaty of the Miami of Lake Erie. This only lasted until the passage of the 1830 Indian Relocation Act. So 13 years later, there was another major change. In 1831, the Senecas, so shout out to you, the Tiffin Calvert, the Senecas of the Sandusky signed off a removal treaty and gave up their reservations in Sandusky and Seneca counties that were located on the east side of the river. As a result, the Wyandottes also signed their removal treaty in 1842. They were the last to relinquish their land in Ohio. So as you can imagine, unfortunately, they had to travel quite some time, and for both tribes, the Wyandottes and the Senecas, their travel to the west was difficult and a tragic time for them. So as we wrap this up, please use the adjacent URL links. They're in the fourth column for the 9 o'clock time frame to view several videos of the Native American powwows.
There is no chat.
Oh, there is no chat for this session. I do apologize, as it is recorded. I do want to invite you, though, the group that was going to be here today, the Water Spiders, they are participating in a live powwow next weekend, September 26th and 27th, at the Black Swamp Intertribal Foundation event called a Woodland Indian Celebration. And that will be held in Grand Rapids, Ohio at the Seven Eagles Historical Education Center. So if you have nothing going on next weekend, we encourage you to participate. It's a great event, and they are great entertainment. So again, we invite you to visit our YouTube links, take advantage of the great experience provided for the Water Spiders and the Native American powwow. We'll be returning here at 9:30 to start our first game of the day. Thank you.